Well, hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we are talking photography, and on today's topic we have the Nikon D700, a full frame digital SLR from Nikon from some good number of years gone back now. Something that should maybe be kind of almost obsolete or surplus. In a way it is. Actually, I found this one surplus on eBay, and so I decided to snag it, and let's take a look at it. Snag it and take a look at it. So without going into too much detail about the camera, it's really a popular camera, so there's a really ton of videos out there. One thing I noticed was the popularity of the camera on YouTube. A lot of people really seem to love this camera. It's still to this day really popular. So I thought, well, I've been using it with this Nikon 300mm autofocus S lens, and I've been taking a few pictures with it, trying to get used to it. But a little backstory on the camera is it did come from eBay as a parts or repair camera. So it was missing the battery and the charger for about $100. I was able to get it. Already had extra batteries and chargers, so there's no problem there. Did find out once received the camera that it pretty much functions as it should as a normal operating camera. A few little minor things are the screen on the back has some cloudiness to it, so that is not very desirable. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but you really do want a good bright screen if you can get it. So the camera seems to function fine in every other regard. It's in really nice shape other than this little cloudiness. There's no wear on the body of the camera. Nice clean on the bottom. On a camera that's had a lot of use, you'll start to see wear around the corners. These little shiny spots will show up and it'll start to wear the paint off. On this one, that doesn't exhibit any of that. It looks like a camera that's been hardly used, really, with just a little wear around the tripod hole here, which leads me to believe that it possibly was used in a studio setting, because it shows no wear whatsoever. But it actually has around 140 some odd thousand clicks of the shutter, so it's had a lot of use. That's a lot of use on the shutter, 140 some odd thousand. So you sort of get what you pay for, but fortunately it works, and the pictures look good. There's a lot of these cameras out there with a high shutter count, and I really don't know how far they'll go, although I have heard talk of people getting over 300,000 clicks out of the shutter. So just wondering if any of you out there have a D700, how many clicks you have on your shutter right now. So if you know, just leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd be interested to know how many clicks you have on your D700. Again, this one has 145,000. So I've been shooting this JPEG straight out of the camera. Mainly just wanted to use it for social media, posting to the YouTube community tab. So hey, if you want to see my recent photos of whether it's this Nikon D700 or any number of other older Nikon digital SLRs or lenses such as this 85 1.4D autofocus Nikkor lens, then by all means check out the community tab, because I intend to continue to keep posting more and more photos right there on that community tab. Although they are a little pixelated for some reason on that community tab. There's some kind of I don't know, I'd call it a strange banding that occurs, but it's there. But a lot of the photos I also intend on incorporating into the videos, so stay tuned for the videos coming up, and maybe the photos will give you a better representation of what I'm actually getting straight out of the camera. So in some ways it may seem like overkill to use an older body like this with only 12 megapixels. You think, well, why not just use your cell phone and blah 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 blah. But you don't really get that experience of using a real camera, a real digital SLR in this case. which was a professional quality back in the day with a really high quality 300 millimeter lens, which you just can't duplicate like something like this on a cell phone for doing nature photography. So the results I've been getting with the 300 f4 have been really good. I'm really pleased with it. I would recommend it. The prices on both the Nikon digital SLRs and the older lenses that were made for the digital SLRs, such as this 70 to 200 Nikkor lens here, the prices continue to come down on this equipment, so it's more affordable for your average person who just wants to play around with some nicer equipment. So the real deal is that the older bodies are really still capable of producing professional results. Every day there are videos posted up on YouTube where people really praise the results they get from this D700. Like, hey, you could go out today and use a D700 and get professional results. You could use it for a wedding, whatever you wanted to use it for, you could get professional results with it. With, of course, the limitations that are there from the advance in technology from then to now, of course, with the speed of the autofocus and the quality of the autofocus. And, you know, if you need the ultimate megapixels, of course, you won't get it with 12 megapixels. But for me, posting to social media, you know, at this 12 megapixels versus 50 megapixels would be basically indistinguishable, really, when it comes down to it at that level. So one of the things you have to remember with this camera is it's relatively cheap. You can pick up this Nikon D700 now with a battery and a charger, probably for the around $200, give or take a little bit, for maybe one in more used condition. You may pay upwards of $250, $275 for one in nicer condition. I personally don't think I'd pay much more than $300 unless I just found one with an extremely low shutter count and had my heart set on getting one. You know, for that price you do get a lot of camera, you know, based on reviews of the past and how much people still love the camera. It'd be hard to say, oh, I don't think I would get one, because of so many people that love it and still buy it and still use it for a bargain basement price. It's kind of hard to go wrong if you want to get into photography. And then you start to pair this up with a Nikon glass, you know, for $100 for this lens. Of course, it sells for a little more than that, but in general, the 300 millimeter, you can find this lens for around $300 to $500, you know, from a good, reputable camera dealer with a warranty. Things to look out for are the fact that parts are no longer available for these older lenses. So when the motors go out on the autofocus, or in this case, if the vibration reduction goes out, you know, you're kind of stuck out there, I guess, a little bit. But they can be had at a bargain price from time to time. So I think it's a real opportunity. So I'm looking forward to having a chance to play with some of these lenses here.